In this video, we will be replacing the turn signal control lever in this 2003 Toyota Camry. Because we will be working with a little bit of electrical, we want to first disconnect the negative battery terminal, cover that in a cloth, and make sure that it is out of the way so it won't accidentally reconnect with the battery. Taking a look at the steering wheel, we do have a small trim cover piece. There is one on each side of the steering wheel, and using a small standard head screwdriver we can remove that little trim piece. And taking a look inside of there, we can see a T30 Torx bit bolt, and again there is one on each side. These will loosen up, but they will not come all the way out. This will then allow me to gently work that airbag off. And on the back of that airbag module, we have two wiring harnesses, and we also have a ground wire. And using a small standard head screwdriver, we can work our retaining clips off first, and then that ground wire. And you do want to store the airbag facing up. In the center of the steering wheel, we have a 19mm set nut. And with a marker, I'm going to create some match marks so that when I remove the steering wheel, complete the repair, and then reinstall the steering wheel, I can get it lined back up in the same orientation. And using a steering wheel removal tool, we can remove that steering wheel. And as we pull that steering wheel off, we will remove our one wiring harness that is getting hung up on the steering wheel. After that, we want to identify our two retaining screws and remove those. These are Phillips head screws, and these are securing that lower trim. And using a trim removal tool, we can separate those pieces of trim. That lower piece can then be removed. And we can work that top piece up just a little bit to give us a little bit more room to work. At this point, we have access to our multi-function switch. We also can take a look at the little retaining clip that is holding it in. If we depress the clip and work that multi-function switch off, it should slide right out. And that will be held on by another wiring harness. And I always like to compare my old part with my new part just to make sure that it looks like it is the same part. These both are looking really good. I did find this replacement part at a salvage yard. With our replacement part, we can reconnect the wiring harness and clip that back onto our steering column. Then we can work to reattach those trim pieces. And we can add our two Phillips head screws to hold that trim in place. The steering wheel then comes next. Working those two wiring harnesses through the steering wheel assembly and reconnecting our one wiring harness. Our center nut can then be reinstalled. I recommend starting this by hand first to make sure you don't cross thread it. And then comes our airbag assembly. We have two wiring harnesses and our ground wire. Tighten down those T30 bolts. Again, starting them by hand first. And our little trim caps. And lastly, we can reconnect that negative battery terminal before testing out our repair. And then we can do all of our tests to make sure that it is working properly.